know what's going on, and we can give you levels, but you have to remember the fundamentals now are going to override the levels. And my advice would probably be to be extremely careful or not to trade. So there's the advice that I can give you right now. I'll give you these levels again. Take them with a grain of salt because we're crazy. 41.15 is the pivot. 41.15 is the pivot. Resistance at 38, 49, 63, 83, and 42.05. Support below at 41.01, 40.83, 64, 51, and 36. Pivot 41.15. Support at 41.01, 40.83, 64, 51, and 36. Resistance on the upside at 38, 49, 63, 83, and 42.05. As Russia has decided to invade Ukraine, it's created some uncertainty all over the world. And the grain market has, the wheat market especially, has locked up limit. I mean, who in this world of electronic trading have we ever said anything's locked up, limit up? And that is just what's happening here, and he has thrown a monkey wrench into the world economies right now. So again, even though I gave you levels, my advice right now, if you like money, is probably not to trade, and to again, if your risk tolerance is nowhere to be able to handle 10-point stops, then I would just let it be today. There's going to be opportunity to trade. There's already almost 1 million contracts traded, and it's almost 8:30. It's just a little after 8:30. So you can see how crazy the volatility has been as news reports continue to come out, and they will continue to come out all day, and we don't know which way they're going to come out. And it's just going to create some crazy volatility all day long. And unless you're willing to, take some drawdowns, I guess that's the right word. You'll get the opportunity. You'll get nice rides on some of these trades. I mean, there's no doubt about it. The only question is the drawdowns are going to affect how they're going to affect you, and most people are not going to be able to handle those drawdowns too well. So coming from somebody who loves to trade and wants to trade, again, you have to take into account the volatility. Don, do you have the volatility up there for what is where are we at with the VIX right now? If you can let me know what that is. 35. If we continue to go lower, probably a lot more than that. So it's a little bit crazy. Actually, it's you're gonna get moves. You're having this takes us back to I guess March, the beginning of the pandemic, right? Where everything was falling out of bed and things were crazy. This is kind of the same kind of trade right now, as Putin decided to upend any kind of world order that's out there. And now we'll see what happens. I mean, markets, there's a lot of uncertainty here. And remember, I keep saying the markets don't like uncertainty. And this is what we have in our midst. This is an aggression not seen. Last time we saw this was right World War situation. So he's like I said yesterday, I don't understand his end game. And then he's threatened. He's threatened to use nuclear weapons if anybody comes in there and stops him. I mean, guy's gone batty, but he has threatened. Uh, this is like crazy. It's not the 1930s. Yeah, but you can't be blind to history. That's all I can say. You cannot be blind to history. And if you are blind to history, then you're this is not good. No matter how you slice this is not good. Rogue is the word. He's well, you know what? My only concern here is China, right? My only concern here is China. I mean, he knew these sanctions are going to come, and how is he going to get funds? I mean, you need money, and if they cut him off of the world financial sources, if he can't sell his wheat or can't sell his commodities to the world, how do you finance your war? Right? China has not done anything. They haven't said a word the whole time, and you have now China, and I mean that's the unknown factor here is what China must be funding this situation, right? I mean, he knew these sanctions were coming, right? I mean, so I mean, this is not like a surprise to anybody. So I mean, who's going to be fine? I mean, they're going to cut him off the World Bank. So what happens then, right? I mean, what happens? I mean, he can't sell anything. Can't sell oil. Can't sell gas. Can't sell commodities. So what happens? How is he going to? Unknown, right? Definitely, this is a big chess game going on as we come up here to the 38 area again. If you're going to trade any of this, you're going to have to trade with you know, you have to be careful. That's all I can say. Because the fundamentals trump technicals right now. If you're going to take the trade, but keep your stops in place. Also understand there's going to be drawdown. I recommend just today, let's see what happens. Again, people love this kind of trade. I'm not going to tell you not to trade. If you love this kind of trade, go at it. But you have to you have to accept the drawdowns as part of the what's happening here. It's really just that simple. So, all right. So keep that in mind if you're going to be trading this mess. I would tell you not to. Yeah, Putin was in China for Olympic Games, and he had a meeting with XI. He waited for the games to end. Absolutely, all that true. There was talk. They had private meetings with XI. So who knows what was discussed? I mean, he must have told them what he was going to do. It's not like everybody knew what he was going to do. He didn't hide the fact about what he was going to do. All right. So again, if you are trading, you got to be careful here. You're going to get those moves. It's just a matter of do you want to take them or not. So careful. And again, if you these are times that you have to be careful. Anybody has any questions, please ask in the chat. I know it's kind of a goofiness here. Conditions in Ukraine are rapidly deteriorating. Russia has confirmed it's conducting a special operation to protect the eastern area, but he's going way beyond that right now. He's going into the capital there, which is recognized as its own just days ago, citing that it needs to demilitarize Ukraine and accusing the United States of crossing its red line by expanding NATO. Military facilities have been targeted across the country, including airfields and anti-aircraft systems, and while the developments are hard to confirm, there are already reports of casualties. Airstrikes and explosions have hit the capital city of Kyiv, as well as more than a dozen other cities. Ukraine Border Services said that soldiers came under attack along the country's frontiers with Russia and neighboring Belarus, where while tanks have crossed the border with Crimea. Reports additionally suggested the Russian Navy troops have landed in Odessa and is also crossing the border into the city of Kharkiv. Russian cyber attacks are meanwhile hitting the country, and with the Ukraine officials citing an intensifying hacking wave of destructive software. All right, again, we're getting 10-point rotations on these levels. You have to be able to handle the heat in the kitchen to be able to trade them. Okay, here's a 10-point rotation here off of the 38 area, but it did pop up to 45 and then come flying back down. If you can handle the drawdowns, you're going to get the opportunity. Just a matter of, are we going to be able to handle the drawdowns, right? I mean, if you can take 38 and popped up to 45 and then come back here to 28, then that's great. It's hard to do. It's happening fast, so it's not making you sweat too much. So that's about, again, like I always keep saying, there's definitely a risk reward situation with these kind of markets, right? It's just a matter of how much risk and how much reward you want to take. And right now, as any kind of trader, you got computerized software kind of running the show here with a lot of algorithms stuff. So again, we cannot keep up with them, honestly. So you have to understand that if you're trading. And if the volatility is a little bit too great, things will slow down. I said this when the pandemic thing started. If this is a little bit too great for you, things will slow down. So it's not like you have to worry that this is going to be like this forever. The government of Kyiv is calling it a full-scale invasion, with the Ukraine ambassador to the United Nations saying that it's too late for de-escalation. That prompted Ukraine to declare martial law and close its airspace to civilian air flights. The military has announced that it shot down 5 Russian war planes and 1 helicopter, though Moscow denied any aircrafts were hit. What we've seen since the election of Zelensky is that Russia has its hopes raised that this was someone they could work with and that they could unblock the Minsk II peace process to govern the conflict between eastern Ukraine, said some analysts. Instead, Zelensky has gone from what was thought in Russia as a Russian-speaking, perhaps even Russian-tolerant president to a vehemently anti-Russian president. And Putin is calculating that he is at risk of losing Ukraine and does not want that to be a part of his legacy. Okay, well, there you have his legacy. The conflict in Ukraine is rolling many sectors across the globe, with investors fearing contagion. I love that word. It's back. Contagion is back in all parts of the market. Stock index futures in the United States dropped precipitously. Love that word too. Overnight, that means free fall. With contracts linked to the Dow down 2.5% this morning. NASDAQ over 3%. European Germany is down like 5%. Paris is down 4%. Commodities, Ukraine and Russia are also the big exporters of precious industrial metals, as well as grain. but the military blockade could risk significant shipments from the Black Sea ports. Aluminum topped its 2008 peak and climbing nearly 3%, while gold hit its highest level in the year, going up to 1971. Nickel advanced 2.5%. All these metals. Wheat futures soared 5.7% to $9.35 a bushel. Corn rose 5% to $7.16. These are moves that in futures markets that are capped off by limits. The National Bank of Ukraine limited cash withdrawals to 100,000 here, whatever that currency is, a day, equivalent to $3,000 a day, and will fix the official exchange rate for Thursday's activities on Ukraine's stock market exchange was postponed, while the yield on the Ukrainian dollar bond maturing in September of 2027 doubled in the last 24 hours to 32%. The ruble was trading at 89, down more than 10% versus the dollar, prompting Moscow to announce a currency intervention. Meanwhile, yields on the Russian benchmark 10-year ruble bond hit 10.93%, its highest level since 2016. Russian central bank has also ordered brokers to ban short selling as Russian shares plunged, losing 45% in early trading. Wow, 45%. Could you imagine that? That's crazy. The greenback, which is viewed as a safe haven during times of geopolitical unrest, was up 0.4% to 96.53 on the dollar index. Crypto space, Bitcoin plunged 9%. Ethereum down 13%. I guess crypto is not the safe haven for, they're going to trade with the stock market, I guess. Yield on a 10-year is down to 188. And well, you can see bonds here coming off a little bit. All right. Now we continue to uptick here. Well, again, if we got up to 45 last time, 49 is definitely suspect, right? And that's what's going on here. Next level up here is up at the 63 area. And then from there, really nothing till the 83. Again, you have to be very cautious here. Again, like I said, probably a good time not to trade if you like money. Can we post the levels again? And have we posted the levels there, Don? Did you put them up at all? If we have them, can you put them up there? If not, I'll just verbally repeat them. There they are. There are the levels again. You got to remember with the volatility here, we're looking minimally 10-point stops, 10-point targets. And if it's way too much for us, then just be patient and wait for the market to give you better opportunities. You would like to talk, Richard? Yeah, got up to 56, 7 area there and come off. We've got nothing up here till 80 to 63. All right, so we do, believe it or not, we have new home sales coming out here at in about 7 minutes. We got a whole bunch of Fed speaks. That should be interesting today. Fed speak at 10, Fed speak at 11, Fed's two Fed speaks at 11, another one tonight. There's a 7-year note auction. Bonds here rotating to the downside as S&Ps rally a little bit. Again, if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask in the chat right now. All right, the 63 area here triggered a little bit. Again, got right up to 62. Obviously, you're not going to be scaling in point above and below, right? I mean, let's hope not. If you did, maybe got in at 61. You got to remember, if you're going to do this, I mean, it's a very tough trade, but you're getting a nice rotation here off of the 63 area. All right. So we are getting 10 points rotations on these levels. So it's not like pie in the sky, like craziness I'm talking about. We are getting the rotations here. You have to be able to handle the drawdowns if you're going to trade. So we did get a nice rotation there against the 63 area, got right up to 62 and came off. And again, if you're trying to stay short, have a trailing stop. I know it doesn't mean anything with the volatility the way it is, but you know, that's a nice little trade there for us. So you're gonna get, if you catch it right, you can easily get to more than 10 points on a trade. Obviously, keep your stops in place if you're going to trade. I adjusted the levels here so that they're not going to be tight. Again, keep your stops in place for any of these trades. Understand that there's going to be some crazy volatility today. Trying to pick areas that are quote unquote safer, but with these markets, there's not too much safeness in anything. But if you are trading with us, we talked about how the levels have been working here. Again, you have to give yourself enough space to handle uh, the extra volatility that's in the market. Okay, if anybody has any questions, I know you can put them in the chat. Again, you know that outside that, the advice here is to be very careful, and if you can handle the drawdowns, go ahead. That's good. You can see how you're getting your opportunities there. You're getting 10-point rotations. Well, we got up to 45. So obviously, when we got up to 45, 49 wasn't viable anymore. And then we zoomed up here to the 62 area against our 63. Hopefully, if you did, you got a nice quick 10-point rotation off of that. So all right. All right, next level of resistance up here is up at the 83 area. All right, you can see here, very, very whippy. We're over a million contracts traded, 1.1, and it's 9 o'clock. We had a number that came out here. Again, numbers right now, fundamental numbers, not really going to be concerning with us that much. Fundamental right now, the fundamentals, well, the global war fundamental is definitely geopolitical fundamental. That's not true. That's not possible. The geopolitical situation is trumping fundamentals and technicals right now. That's what I wanted to say. Didn't know how to spill that out right now, but yeah, I got it. Now I got it. And such is that is what happens. And littles, they're gonna take any support there. A little support around the 25 area. If you're gonna dip your toe at all, but remember to keep your stops in place. All right, there, Richard. No problem. If you have our um, contact information. Again, if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask. The markets are definitely going to be whipping around here. If it stays right there, you'll still be okay. Has to happen soon, Bill. This might be described as a little dead cat bounce here. As the market here opens up, over 100 S&P points lower, so kind of maybe a little dead cat bounce. I don't know. We'll see. If we close on the lows, that's not going to be good either. Oh yeah, for sure. We might get more than that today.
Hey,
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Hey, I got a question for you.
Mhm.
Looking at these charts technically, for this thing to go lower, are we going to have to stay below that 42 area?
You have to remember one thing: when you get this kind of outside influence, geopolitical situation,
Mhm.
any kind of news at any moment could create some volatility one way or the other, and technicals don't matter.
Okay.
So that's why I said you have to be very careful today. I mean, right now we're at least finding areas that we're bouncing off of, but once you get into the afternoon trade, like I always say, the afternoon trade has its own mind. And you get into the afternoon trade, like yesterday, they sold it off in the afternoon. Because the big players know. I mean, you think they didn't get short,
Oh yeah.
right? And they knew what was going on, and they wait for the afternoon because there's less people in there, and there's not. They can get just kind of just push it down, push it down. You get definitely a technical. It was from a technical point of view, it was a very bad close, and then the war breaks out. Was that a surprise? I mean, for these big players who know what's going on, they know what's going on, and so you get a different dynamic in the afternoon. So yeah, right now things are, you can look at it from a technical point of view, and things are, somewhat working out okay, and that's why we there's a reason we trade the morning and not the afternoon, and so you get in the afternoon, and then you kind of, you put all the things that we learned and we trade off of on the side because it has its own it's its own animal. And
takes on its own life force.
Yeah, and especially when you have something like this going on. You know, technically you close on the lows, which is an awful thing, and then the war breaks out. So you tell me somebody didn't know what was going on. I mean, for all we know, it could have been Russia, right? Who sold it off, and and then they could have, started the war because they knew what was going to happen. Is that like an unreasonable assumption?
They got to pay for the war some way.
I mean, think about it. You're short, a couple thousand, maybe 10,000. Is it hard for a big fund or a big country to be short 10,000, 20,000 contracts? No. And you're making millions here, when you open up 100 points lower. So I don't know. I'm just spewing some, crazy theories. I'm just saying, because, but to answer your question, as far as, from a technical point of view, how do you look at things? Again, you have to take everything with a grain of salt at this moment in time, especially because of the geopolitical situation that's out there.
I was just looking at that low back in January on the daily chart. I'm going, okay.
Right. I mean, it'll butt up against it. I think that'll be a good area to butt up against it. What price is that?
42.11. I think. Yeah, 42.12.75.
Yeah. I mean, we closed below it yesterday. Yeah. So that was a problem. And it's right now there's a lot of areas that you can pick that can say we have to close above this, then we have to close above that, then we have to close above this, because right now it's just it's very tough right now to even try to guess what's going to happen here. Because if he goes and says that if anybody attacks or uses force to stop them, like an outside influence, like another country, that they're going to be retaliated with forces they've never used before, never seen before. I mean, what the hell? Well, he's going to use a nuclear weapon, right? If
it sounds like, yeah.
Right. Well, what do you think is going to happen to the market then? I mean, the whole world. Yeah. He's gone nuts here. Come on, I mean, he could do it.
Oh yeah.
So this is you got a guy out there that's basically threatening everybody to use a nuclear weapon. That's scary.
You know what kills me is he's going to start a war and he goes in there and bombs everything and tears everything up. Then you got to rebuild it.
He doesn't care. He has. I feel sorry for the people. This is a country. Yeah. I mean, you have women, children, men. I mean, this is like displacing them. I mean, their whole lives have been there, and what's going on? I think about it. They can't even go to the bank and take money out. They can't do anything. They're I don't know if you saw the news this morning. They have a subway underneath subway platform that they're using as shelter. The subway's not even working. How could it? They have a train that said the subway, and they have people packed into the train just to as a place to sit down. I mean, these are like lives, just people's lives, that everyday people's lives, and in any other city or town.
I know at 3:00 this morning, I had the news on, and it was just amazing to see all the cars. They were just, one side of the street was blank. The rest of them were just bumper to bumper trying to leave.
Yeah, well, they should have been leaving a long time ago because the writing was on the wall. You just can't blame them, though. I don't think they ever thought that. Again, you also don't know the kind of information they're getting.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you just don't know what they were thinking. You don't know what the mindset was. I mean, I've heard some of them on the news were saying, "Well, why is Russia doing this? Because they're supposed to be our big brother." So there's some like belief there that this was never going to happen. But again, you don't know what information flow they were getting. So it's very hard to quantify, and the market, the market doesn't like uncertainty. It's bad enough that we here have to deal with inflation and that stuff. That's even going to be worse right now. So yeah, this is definitely a very crazy, rough time to say the least. But the next month or so, we'll see what happens. It's going to be. We are getting rotations, but the problem is, again, it's the drawdowns, like you say, right? Can you handle the drawdowns?
Yeah.
And again, there's always going to be tomorrow. You don't have to trade today. There's going to be things that will settle down. Things will start trading quasi normal, at least for a while. It happened when the pandemic started, when the markets were going crazy. It always comes back to happened in 2006, 2007, when the financial crisis. So markets go crazy, especially electronically, and then things settle down a little bit.
Did you mess with it at all last night?
No, I was watching it. I went to a basketball game. That kept me out of my computer, out of the house too. So, but I kept, of course, kept looking at my phone to see where the market is, and I kept telling my friend, "This is going to be an ugly day tomorrow. It's going to be an ugly day tomorrow." I told him that before this stuff started. I said to him, we closed down the lows, which is not a good thing. And sure enough, unfortunately, it's not a good thing. Oh well, we'll see what happens.
I guess around 9-10 o'clock till about 3 this morning, it traded pretty good.
Okay, I didn't want to look at it.
Yeah.
All right, we're upticking here. We got resistance up here at 83. I tried to spread apart the levels here a little bit. Come up here to our blue band. Again, you have to be very cautious here. Your drawdowns are the part that hurts the most. The levels are working. Like levels that work. The 38 level worked, popped up to 45 really fast, and then came off. So that then rotated down, and then now, 63 also got up to 62, and then came off. Okay, coming up here to the 83 area. Again, just be very patient, cautious, whatever you want to say. Anyway, we'll see what happens. This is a very tricky time here. We were dealing with, what the Fed was going to do and how they were going to handle that, and now we have to deal with this situation because the other situation, unfortunately, never went away. It's still there. That gave us volatility, and then this thing took over. So definitely some things to trade, that's for sure. But this kind of volatility though is tough because of the VIX is up at 35. Yeah, you're getting like crazy moves here, coming right up here to the 83. Let's see what it wants to do over here. It's gapping again. Every time it gaps like that, it's not a good thing.
Be nice if it'd make its way back down to that 70.
I'd even take 75 right now.
I got to get that.
It should. Okay, there we go. All right. All right, that was a nice little trade there. If some of you partook in the trade, you get paid off very, very nicely. Again, we're getting our 10-point rotations here. But in this one, not too much, not too much of an issue. If you think 10 points are not doable, they're doable. Again, just keep your stop in place because you have to.
I like 10.1 minute bars.
Yeah, right. Right. And if you're trying to stay short here, then kind of just have a trailing stop. I know 5-point trailing stop, I guess, would be adequate. Nice little trade there against that level.
Excuse me.
All right, nice little trade there.
I've got numbers strode all over my desk.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
I had a little pad that had 3 columns on it. And this morning I come in and we've done work through all of those numbers. So I had to go down another 100.
All right, so we've gotten a good, huge pullback here off of the 83 area. Again, if you ever think that these levels are never going to get hit, they get hit. I mean, we've rotated, what, 70, 80 points from the lows.
It seems like the market is doing what it normally does, except it's just in a bigger way.
Yes, and we have to, again, for traders, you have to expand your stops. And if you can handle that, you're doing okay. The problem is that most people can't handle 10-point drawdowns, right? It's tough to handle, to be honest. For anybody, it doesn't matter. I mean, even if you're trading, if you're used to big moves to get it done, if we get that in a day, I mean, well, you get a 40-point, 50-point move in a day, you're happy. You're getting a 10-point drawdown in a second here. That's big.
I know last night I got stuck in one. I'm going, oh, this is going to hurt. And luckily it changed and I was able to get out of it, but still it's kind of like, you dummy. You'd have been better off taking that stop and getting out.
Exactly. That's the problem. And we're all going to make that mistake.
You know what's bad is I know better. I'm still doing
well,
it.
we all know better. This is the nature of the beast here, because we feel that we can always like outsmart it once in a while, and it just doesn't work out that way.
It will humble you.
Oh, for sure. If there's any place that'll ever do that, this is the place where that'll happen. And then, with the social media thing, you don't know what's true and what's not true. You don't know what reports are out there that's right, what's report there how they're not right.
I can't imagine what it's like to be over there and not have any information with everything down.
Well, and then you don't know what information to believe in and what information not to believe in.
Yeah.
That's the other.
If you want to start a war around here, just shut off all the phone service.
Yeah, I mean the internet, right? I mean
Yeah.
that's what they're doing over there. They're cutting off the internet. Then they know how to, they know how to do. Yeah, it's not a good thing, no matter how you slice this.
Yeah. My heart goes out to them.
And you got the Russian news agency saying stuff that, they're just saying stuff. They're a big propaganda machine. They know how to work. They know how to work that propaganda machine pretty good.
I'm really surprised that other countries don't release the malware into their systems.
Well, you never know that they're not.
Yeah. Kramer must have told everybody this is the bottom buy.
Amazing how that guy's still around.
Well, I really like to see a track record of when he makes a recommendation, does the stocks actually go up?
Well, they have to, right? I mean, they have to.
He may be like the Russians. He goes ahead and buys them, and he makes a recommendation. As soon as it goes up, he starts selling them.
Well, I mean, he says that he's not in the markets, but he's got to have a way in those markets somehow, some way when he does that.
Well, I thought he managed a fund or something.
He did, but then he can't. He has to disclose whether he is owner of the stock or not.
Oh, okay. Even in the fund.
Yes. Oh, the fund, because the fund is public.
Yeah.
So.
Man, there's just so many good opportunities coming along.
Yeah, you just got to be careful. Pick the spots.
Very carefully. It didn't take me but a few minutes last night to figure out, look, I need to slow down and get the exact spot. Because most of the time it would run through 3 or 4 points. Just, whoa. Well, I hate that Mark's missing out on all this fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Or maybe he's making money.
Hey, that's right. It's either that or all the folks that were short last night from overseas are getting out and pushing this thing up.
Well, I mean, there's definitely some of that happening. Just on the simple fact, from a technical point of view, and if you just sold it because we closed on the lows on a big day, that's usually a negative. But who would have thought you're going to open up 100 points lower? And then you have a lot of bargain hunting. Again, what happens in the afternoon is the key. Uh, we've seen many a time where the market rallies during the day and then they slowly sell it off in the afternoon.
Now, clarify something for me. That now your definition of afternoon is from what, 12 to close or 2 to close?
Probably from one or two to close. Yeah.
Okay.
Especially when the bond market closes at 2 o'clock.
Okay.
So the last hour for sure, but it does happen. A lot of traders leave after noon, because they've done okay. They did. It's very thin there, so you have these big institutions that can really move the market around because they can throw some size around, and because there's a lot less traders, who are not going to be around. Especially the ones who can take size. I mean, you keep trading size all day, you're going to get hurt at some point. You're not going to be right every time.
Yep.
It's just, we try to be right every time, but it just doesn't work. I mean, if you're going to, that's why, if you make money in the morning, you should, say, okay, we'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. It's called the preservation of capital. That's what it's called.
I call it staying in business.
Yeah, well, we did go to our green band there and pop right off very nicely if you were aggressive. Again, a lot of these trades, you have to definitely be aggressive too, and also understand the risk involved. And that's what we're trying to explain to you here. There's no right way of doing this or wrong way of doing this. Right now, when these markets are flying around like they are, it's a very tough little trade to deal with. All right, you can see the volatility there. You're basically having 20, 30-point moves in these 5-minute bars. So very, patience is very important. All right, we are definitely romping around here again. That I said that you got to be very careful and cautious in this kind of market. You got to pick your spots and keep your stops. Really, that's about all I could say. Yeah, things will slow down. Markets will come back to some sort of equilibrium or tradable opportunities. If you can handle the drawdowns, obviously, then you can handle, then you can be able to handle the trade here. You would love it. Again, obviously, handling the drawdowns is the key to this kind of trade. When you have a geopolitical situation overriding the technicals, even though we've been pretty lucky or good with our level with our technicals, even in the midst of the chaos here that's happening, that's affecting the markets. Oil above 100, and everybody's talking to them moving to 110, 120 area, which pretty crazy, but could happen. Doesn't really help the situation domestically here in the United States when you're going to have prices increasing some more.
It looks like I'm gonna have to run out back and turn the pumps on, see if I can get that oil flowing.
Yeah, well, yeah. Now you can. It's worth it for you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you get that going. You know, now you can make some money on it.
Oh yeah.
But
I
that big,
only wish.
yeah. Well, all you need is like 1,000 barrels, right? You'd be a happy camper.
Yeah.
Crazy, just crazy. Well, let's see what again. Look at you're getting 20-point bars here in the 5-minute bars. That's definitely uh, not tradable. I mean, some people love it, right? Again, picking your spots is very important. I'm not telling you not to trade. You just have to be able to find the areas there and pick your spots. Yeah, Pat, you knew that was like that was just a joke. Actually, there's no way that I thought that was ever going to happen. I mean, that was my thinking. I mean, what do I know? I just thought that he was just trying to buy a little bit of space or time, make it sound like he's the good guy. Guy's playing everybody. All right, bonds here turning over a little bit to the downside. Again, the bonds in a very weird situation because of the fact that the Fed is almost committed to increasing rates. The fact that they're rallying doesn't help that situation. You could say they're definitely putting the Fed in a weird predicament, right? Yes, and the obviously the this war is creating greater price increases in commodities, which puts more pressure on the Fed. How do you control inflation? So uh, definitely not a good situation of how we're going to deal with this, and putting more pressure. I think that would put more pressure on the equity market. There you can see we went down to the 45 area or the 40 area, yeah, 45 area, and pop it up here to the 70 area. We're still getting some crazy movements. It's a big range game you're playing right now if you're playing that. Well, I mean, he goes down 10%, you're making a little bit of a correction. You go down 20%, you're having a bear market. So that's the usually what happens. And honestly, we haven't had a 10% correction in a very long time. So uh, having a 10% correction usually is healthy for a market going forward. But now we had a lot of geopolitical situations, inflation, economic situations. Everything is coming out all at one time. So we'll see how long that lasts. So the geopolitical situation is definitely going to affect this market no matter how we slice it. And this one could be ongoing for a bit because we don't know definitely how it's going to play out. So
We got our 10% drop. I just didn't realize it was going to be overnight.
right? I mean, what, 4,800? Yeah, I mean, we've definitely gotten our 10% drop here. We got our 10% drop when we flushed that day. When they started talking about raising rates, it was a 10% and then came out of it that same day. We had like that 200-point range in that day, remember? And then we were in a trading day, trading range for a bit, and then we got above it. We thought we were going to be free and clear, and then they slowly have come back. So yeah, so no, we did have that correction, the 10% correction already. It's just a matter of well, now we're definitely in a new world situation, so we'll see what happens.
When the other day you were talking about, they said the market should go down to 41 something. Remember?
Yeah.
What was it? 4150,
I
60 area?
was talking about that low from the from that big 200 point day.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
was 41 to it's 41.20, something like that.
4212.
Yeah.
75. Yeah.
Right. So that's what I was talking about. That they should go and retest that. They got below that easily. You know?
Yeah.
And when you get through something that like that very easily, you know that there's a fundamental problem. You know, technically, there's definitely when you get below a technical issue so easily, there's a fundamental problem.
Yeah.
And the fundamental problem could be raising rates, the economy, or you know, tightening of the Fed, or now in this situation we got the war situation. So
Yesterday's high was 43.45. We got all the way down to 4100. So I'm going,
right,
wow.
yeah, that's amazing when it makes these moves. They're amazing, right? They're amazing.
You didn't tell me I still had an order in there.
Yeah, I've done that too, right? You forget.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I was.
Is it a good one? Of course not.
No, right now I'm down a little bit.
Yeah, of course not. I always I've done that so many times lately. You know, because it moves so much and you forget.
I have faith. I have faith that it is going to work.
Oh God.
That's the most expensive phrase around.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Then they're done.
And it's going to work.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh God. It's a good one. All right. Well, seems like it wants to continue to uptick here. Next level is all the way up at 05. And let me give you a couple levels here above. I got 05, then I got 42.26 and 41.
All right. Oh my God. 6 and 41. There you go.
Thank you. All right. Well, hopefully you're making your money on it now. All right, again, we're going to be careful, obviously, and that's the motto today. Pick your spots. We gave you the levels there. You're looking at 10-point stops here minimally, but we're getting those rotations for profits. So it's not like they're telling you to take 10-point stops and then not take 10-point profits, because that's where we're at. And if the volatility is too high, then obviously then just sit back and we'll have trade tomorrow and the day after where things will slow down a little bit.
I'm glad you said something. I was over there messing with my phone.
What's that?
I said, I'm glad you said something. I was over there messing with my phone and you said something. I looked up and says, I can get out.
Yeah, now you're making money on it.
Oh, man.
Figured you were short, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's what you have to do sometimes is don't look at it.
Yeah. Mark comes back. I'm giving him his job back and I'm not taking it over anymore. If you talk to him, tell him I got something for him.
Yeah.
He went to Disneyland and never came back. Where's Brad today? I hadn't heard him.
He's calling his buddy Putin, trying to say, "What's going on, man? Why'd you tell me this was happening so I can get short?"
Well, one thing about it, this is going to be kind of unique with inflation, energy, a war. I mean, it's like the perfect storm.
Yeah, that's the problem, right?
Yep. And it is a Shemitah year.
Who year?
A Shemitah.
Oh boy, you're gonna have to explain that. Okay, what the hell is that?
Well, it's actually a Jewish holiday that the Lord commanded.
With the
land to lay it
land
out
and let it rest for a year.
Yeah.
After 7 years.
Yeah. This is the 7th year. This is a Shemitah year.
Yeah. Yes, that's true.
And strange things happen on Shemitah years for some reason. I can't explain it, but I'm aware of them. Then you throw COVID in there, then it's kind of like, man, what's going to happen now?
All hell's breaking loose.
A question for you. In your part of the world, are you seeing empty spots in the shelves of some of the stores you're going into?
No, not around here. There are I mean, the one thing that I did say before was that you had a lot of Starbucks who were not opening because they couldn't get people to work. But
Yeah.
now people are working, and I've seen that they've gotten like the regular hours back.
Yeah.
So that's so. As far as supply chain is concerned, I think whatever was there, I think is getting better. And they've taken the only problem they have with supply chain right now is I think is for the cars because they
Yeah.
need the chips, and so that's taking a little bit more time to get. But I think the backlog of those cargo ships on the west coast has depleted,
Yeah.
and so that's getting a little bit better. I don't, but again, the problem is not the inventory. I think anymore is the problem. The prices are going to be going up,
Yeah.
and that's it's going to be that's a problem. I think, and especially if gas prices start going up again, right?
How bad are they there? They're right at a little over $3 here.
Oh, we're close to $4 here.
Oh man.
Yeah, we're at $4 here and going up, and it
Yeah.
will go up. I mean,
Yeah.
oil is up 8% today.
What is it?
Now
It's over 100, isn't it?
it's over 100, right? So 8% on a $4, a barrel, $4 a gallon, and I don't know. There shouldn't be a direct correlation, 1 to 1, but it always seems that every time the oil goes up, the gas goes up more.
Yeah.
Don't ask me how or why, but that's what happens.
Well, what's really funny is when you look at a barrel of oil, most of it that comes out of it is gasoline, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Or,
you
or
need
is it
oil
diesel?
for
Yeah.
well, you need oil for a lot of things, though.
Yeah.
The world uses, I think I read 100 million barrels a day.
Yeah. What a
So,
lot of people don't realize is you take oil and after they refine it, they put it into a cracking unit and they start heating it up. Well, as this stuff starts boiling and volatilizing off, they take off different levels for different grades of anything from machine oil to automobile oil to gasoline to diesel. They've got this cracking tower. They're taking these different levels off. But at the bottom of it, you end up with a product called Coke. It
mhm,
just looks like charcoal ground up.
mhm,
And we use that in everything from candy bars to the tires on our vehicles.
mhm, mhm.
And
Candy
so,
bars?
yeah,
Okay.
believe it or
So,
not,
so
candy
stop. I
bars.
don't want to know anymore. Stop. 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 Stop.
All plastics have to make them resistant to the sun. You have to have that carbon in there, so they use it to make plastics not deteriorate as fast.
Well, that I understand, but not that I have to put something in my body. That
Yeah,
sounds
I
disgusting.
mean, it's just a granular black looking stuff, and they use it in lipstick, makeup, all sorts of stuff.
Okay, my stomach's churning a little.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah, yeah. You're a wealth of information, Darwin. Thanks. All right, so I am going to take off right now. I have to have an appointment. So, like I said, hopefully everybody did okay in a very dangerous type of trade today. We were trying to keep you as safe as possible. At least that was what I was trying to do today, even suggesting to some of you not to trade, because you can see how volatile it is. And we gave you our levels. I think our levels, I think they work pretty well considering the volatility. And hopefully, if you just traded the levels with your 10-point stops, except for the 45, but then the 49, but then 40, it went up to 45. So you had to be almost to the point where you can say that you had to not trade that level. So hopefully you did okay with the rest of them. You don't need to make many trades today to make money. If you just got one or two of those trades, you did okay. So hopefully you've done that, and and now just let the market. I don't know what it's going to happen. I don't know if they're going to retrace and go back down to the highs, close the gap, or they're going to make new lows. And they could do either. They could really do either one here. This is a very uh, unique, precarious situation that we're in with this Ukraine Russia thing, regardless of the fact that there's still going to be, the problems domestically in the United States are still here. They haven't gone away. So we'll see what happens. All right, Don, thanks again for helping me out. And
No problem. See you tomorrow.
see you tomorrow. And tomorrow is Friday, so you'll definitely be in with me tomorrow.
Yep.
All right, man. Thanks a lot. I appreciate
Take
it.
care.
Talk to everybody tomorrow.
Hey, a couple quick shout outs and programming notes. If you want to join us, have somebody join us, want to refer a guest, tradealonglive.com, tradealonglive.com. We're here from the hours of 9 a.m. to 12 noon with the body of the action from an educational point of view only, from 9:30, the opening cash bell, until at 11:30. Right now it's 11:22 a.m. Eastern Time. This is a service. It's called Trade Along Live with Saul. Thank you, Saul. Thank you, Don. What a great morning. Those that are coming in as guests, you have the opportunity to transition over to paid. For those that are paid, thank you. You're part of our friends and family group. Hey, Barach, how are you doing? Richard A. Hey, Fwak, how are you today? Everybody else, I think I shouted out to you before. Frank and Zahurl, Timothy, Glenn, Philip. So we'll be here again tomorrow. Make sure that you're signed up and paid. I'll send out the links to join up. They're coming out to everybody now. And again, if you want to join us, tradealonglive.com, tradealonglive.com. Thank you. Focus on the S&P 500 E-mini. Looking to do 2, 3, 4, 5 trades based on a price action trading technique. Saul is a 25-year veteran of the trading pits in Chicago. He's actively scalping. He's available for individuals that really want to buckle down and be part of trading, serious trading. He has a mentoring and a training service where he takes you under his wing, teaches you his methodology, then teaches you as you're applying in the methodology with updates and tweaks and critiques based on the action of price in and around his pre-mapped out, predetermined levels and zones. We start at the morning session right around the cash open, where Saul sets his proprietary levels and zones for this session, today's session, this past morning session. Those become the areas and zones that he is looking at to do trades. Individuals out there that are part of this service love Saul's levels and zones. They believe it gives them a real heads up and a discipline for the morning's trade. Then you add in the concept of trading along with Saul based on this service, and you got a home run. So stop in, refer somebody, tradealonglive.com, tradealonglive.com.